Yeah, so Francois, welcome back, and Steve.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of traveling, man.
Yes, I've been on a motorcycle trip to South Dakota.
Hmm.
Oh, yes.
So, have you heard of the Black Hills in South Dakota?
Right.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is every August of every year there is a motorcycle rally called the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally.
Hmm.
One of the biggest in the States.
Yeah.
One of the biggest in the world, Steve,
Wow.
actually.
Hmm.
It's absolutely crazy. Imagine that. About 500,000 motorcycle enthusiasts gather to the Black Hills every year. 500,000.
Hmm.
Now, Sturgis is a small city, correct?
It's a very small town. Maybe I would say 10 to 15,000 people live there.
That's small.
How do they accommodate all
So-
those people?
You have to imagine a radius of maybe 50 miles around the city of Sturgis is absolutely packed with bikes
Wow.
and bikers.
Oh,
So in Sturgis, which is the epicenter of the rally, people even rent their yards for guys to camp on them.
right.
You
I guess
know?
they have to. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, I can
But
only,
we had a
I
great
can only
time.
imagine what happened.
My wife and I, we went there. We visited, of course, you know, the Badlands, Mount Rushmore,
Hmm.
Crazy
Right.
Horse Memorial, Custer Park. I mean, it's amazing.
And you've been here how long now?
So it took me 4 days to ride up there. We
But
stayed a
you-
week.
States for about a year, you said, right? Francois?
Sorry,
You've been in the States for about a year?
no, a few months now.
Just a few months, and you've already traveled to those places. I've been in 30 years. I haven't seen those.
You see? Yeah, I love to travel. We love to explore new places. And
Have you ever come down to Daytona, the bike week?
oh yeah, many times.
Yeah, that's a good time.
It's a good time. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sturgis is just very different because it's located in the hills, in the Black Hills. So it's very green, forests, lakes, beautiful roads. I mean, if you like riding a motorcycle, this is a place to go.
Right. Yeah. I always heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just very hot on the first few days because I left, Palm Springs. So I left at 4 o'clock in the morning to try to beat the heat.
Mhm.
But still, it got me. And, heat can be as bad as cold on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
There is no way you can protect yourself,
No. You think that wind is helping you, but it's the heat's still there.
No, the wind is making it worse, actually.
Mhm.
You have to start, putting a face mask on
Mhm.
and gloves. Otherwise, you just burn,
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow.
And the heat coming from the engine, of course, doesn't help. So,
Right.
Mhm.
yeah, it can be pretty tough.
I imagine the helmet's hot after a while as well, right?
So, yeah, I ride a open helmet, not the closed helmet.
Right.
I just don't like those. But the good news is in South Dakota, there's no helmet law.
Oh.
Same here.
So you can ride without a helmet, which is, for a lot of people say it's very dangerous, and it is. But
Same down here.
without a helmet, you hear everything, and you see much more
Right.
than with a helmet. So I actually feel very safe riding without a helmet, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No.
It's like swimming without a bathing suit. It's nicer.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some nasty wrecks without a helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So how you guys been doing?
Good, good. How about Steve? What's going on with you, man? We haven't seen you in a while.
Well, since the last time I was on your show, I'm 15 pounds heavier.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. When you came over to see me, that's the first thing I said. Man, you're looking good, putting on some size.
You know what's funny? I told you, Big Naz. I just decided to start training like I did as a bodybuilder back in the day at my age. I 61 last year. And for some reason, I'm able to do more sets per body part at my age right now than I did back in the day. And I have 15 pounds on. And I was really surprised at it, man. I was actually on another podcast last week with this doctor talking about that. I was, curious, like, how can I gain that kind of size? Because I went from 142 and I'm 158, 157 right now, man.
Well, let me ask you this: being you're 61, right? Do you feel like it's harder to hold it than it was when you were younger, or you
Right
maintained
now,
it pretty good?
because at this time now, Big Naz, it's been like a few months, so for me, I'm able to maintain no problem. So I'm going to keep going at it. I'm just going to keep trying to see what happens. And I had a couple guys ask me, "Is he going to compete again?" I said, "You got to be crazy, man." I'm training that way again. I just don't have an outlet right now, man. After a lot of crazy years and stuff, so I just decided to train hard. Like, the average bodybuilder is doing what? 10, 12, 15 sets for chest, let's say, right?
Right.
I'm doing 24 to 26 sets for chest.
Wow.
Same. And unheard of, and I'm okay to do it. It just unbelievable.
Let me ask you this, Steve.
Yeah.
You got in great shape, and they brought back the Mr. Olympia over 60. Would you think about it?
If they brought it back?
Yeah. Would you think about it?
That's very interesting, man, because you know what? I've been to a couple of shows recently, Phil, and I saw some of my age group, even younger, 50 and over. And I'm just going to be straight up with you, honestly, man. I looked at that, and I got that little bug because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, man, if I get in freaking shape, I can kick these guys' ass.
Yeah.
How I felt. Damn, man. Because, I as a bodybuilder and a judge, I can see certain things. And as you know, we can do that. We can see weaknesses and strengths in a bodybuilder. And just by looking at these guys, a couple of shows I've been to, I was like, damn, I think I would have a great chance. You guys know Vinny Galante, right?
Yeah, sure.
He did it in the Masters here in Orlando, in Tampa. It was about a month ago, and he ended up winning that. And that was 55 and over. And guys in great shape. I mean, look great, look shredded and stuff.
Sure.
Guys today, I'm thinking, man, you get that little bug in the back of your head.
Right.
I don't know if I have these. I'd have to have some pretty big to do that, man.
Yeah. I just wondered if it ever crossed your mind.
It did, to be honest, man. It just hit for a second.
Yeah.
How about you, Phil? Would you do it?
The thought has crossed my mind. If they brought it back, I would consider it.
Wow, great.
I would consider it.
Yeah.
Not 100%, but I would certainly think about it.
Wasn't Ron Love thinking about competing?
Yes. I saw that on a podcast.
Yeah, him and Robbie Robinson were talking trash with each other. I don't know.
Yeah. They're in their 70s, right?
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Yeah. And Robbie listened.
Would you do it again, Francois?
No. Oh, Jan. Oh, I haven't seen you, Jan. How are you?
Hi, Francois. How are you?
Good to hear you.
Good to hear you.
Hey, there's the crystal ball right there. It shows up. Where is he?
I don't think I would. If I could, I don't think I would. The reason being, for me, I mean, I think it's fantastic when people do it and they look actually very good for their age. But for me, somehow, bodybuilding has always been synonymous with JP, I can see you now.
Yeah, Phil.
Bodybuilding has been synonymous with beauty and skin tone and elegance, and I don't know. And as soon as the body gives signs of aging and the skin is sagging a little bit, the lower pecs, the lower abs, the teardrop over the knee, it just takes a lot away from the aesthetic.
I agree.
And I respect it. I think it's fantastic. But as for myself, I don't think I would do it.
What about you, JP?
No way, ever, no way. You know, I mean, assuming
Are you
somebody
sure
offered
about
me
that?
$2 million, $5 million to bring the brand back, the supplement brand, I would say no way, no.
Wow.
For a lot of different reasons. It
Yeah.
will never be the same again. You know, it will never be the same again. Second of all, I hope I escaped alive. I'm not going to risk that in any way. My life is so different now. I have so many projects, so many things going. There's no way I could fit this even in. And I don't like how they look. I seen very rarely a guy who kept the like young stomach. Kind of what Francois was talking about, you know. I seen one guy actually over 60 or 70 at the Beach Classic, black guy, who had this like still young look, but mostly, although I love to help the guys, I have a few really great guys. I just had the Masters champion in the heavyweight over 60 in Pittsburgh, but it's just mostly doesn't look right for me with the shrinkly ass and the stuff. It's just like I can't get past that. You know, it's just it's something for young people. It's just absolutely not.
I would never do it again. There's no way. To me, I want to be remembered how I was at my best. And if I can't if I couldn't bring a better package in than I was at my best, I don't want to walk on a stage.
I mean,
I agree with that too.
I would 100% have to do it natural, and that's even harder. You know? I mean, no, but I have an announcement. So that app I was working on for so long is finally completed.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
we're in so-called phase 2. So the test app is out, and right now I have meetings every night where we work very hard to kind of make it commercially better. You know, it's right now some ideas I had, they're perfectly done. Others, it just needs work. And I'm working on that right now pretty much daily. So I'm looking very forward to share that with you guys very soon.
How long till we can download it? How long?
Well, right tonight, actually, I'm filling out the application for Apple and Google to be sure both systems can download it. But I don't want, you know, I want to start with 5-6 guys, you know, soon to kind of test it out. But I have no interest really before I have it perfect to go public with it, you know. So I have everything. I have the domain name. The app is done, but in the diet and workout and VIP vault area, it's just not quite there yet the way I want it. A lot of things are perfect, and but there's a team now of 9 people now working very hard on it, and I think just before I'm about to really run out of money, it will be completed, and it will be something very special. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And here you guys can see it. I live in a construction site. We ripped everything out in our house. We're changing floors, kitchen. So it's a little rough right now, especially on my animals.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And then as Francois can confirm, we have this summer wasn't all that bad here. You know, as you guys know, I live in the desert where it can go up to like 120 degrees. So this summer wasn't as bad as others, but kind of at the very end now, we're getting up to like 113, 115 kind of. So that's where we are right now. So a little difficult, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks that will subside. And and that's where we at. And then I have question, I want to throw something in. Who's going to the Olympia here? I know Phil does not. Ian, I don't know. I know Jason and I go. Francois, are you going to the Olympia?
Yes, Valera and I are planning to go. First, we wanted to go south to Cabo San Lucas for a nice little vacation, but because I have my application pending, I don't want to leave the country and take a chance. So we're gonna stay here, and the Olympia is definitely on our wish list. So very probably, I just need tickets, and I've seen that all the VIP packages are gone.
They were never on sale, really.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
there was very few of them.
For Friday finals and Saturday finals.
I was buying my tickets on day one when they were released. There were no VIP tickets available. I think you have to apply for that. But I took the next best.
So are you going for the whole weekend, JP, or?
I'm going Friday night and Saturday night.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're planning to do.
Yeah.
The few days before the Olympia, Dorian Yates is coming to LA with a friend of mine to train at Gold's Gym, and I think I'll spend at least 2 days in Venice before the Olympia. I think there's going to be some excitement there in the gym.
I have to be there early. I have this one girl who's competing in wellness. I think she's world class. And if she doesn't get her pro card at the Nationals in Miami, I believe, early December, then we're going to have to go to the Amateur Olympia. So I have to be there early to help her. And but for show-wise, I go Friday night and Saturday night.
Okay.
So if we're at the Olympia, I'm looking at everybody, what they're doing, how they're training. So I start to get really on this Samson Dauda bandwagon, and I believe he can be top 3. What do you guys think? Did you see the newest posting where he's standing there relaxed?
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
330 pounds, good quality, nice. Yeah. It's just like the closest to a bigger version of Flex Wheeler I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks good. Arnold UK is coming up, right?
Yes.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
4 weeks or 3 weeks.
There will be, I think, Fitzwater and Jackson, and then Hollinghead. What's his name? James.
Yeah, Andrew Jack. He's in it.
Yeah, he probably going to win. Fitzwater is somewhat dangerous, but other than those 3, I don't really see anybody there being a big threat or having a chance to qualify for the Olympia. I still think they should really, if the first place is qualified, give the second place, a ticket to the Olympia. But then again, I was just looking at the Olympia qualified list, and it's like 30 people. I never seen anything like it.
Wow.
It's a big lineup this year.
Yeah.
So I think it's not good. It should be 15 or so.
Yeah, no more
Are there any big names that haven't qualified yet? Like Ronnie Winkler, as an example.
Is done for now.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
done.
Semi-retired. Kuglo is not qualified.
No,
the second year in a row.
No.
Yep, that's kind of a surprise somewhat. I mean, I didn't think that at the beginning of the year. Hollinghead is not qualified, who competed at the Olympia last year.
Right.
Hollingshed, right? Yeah.
Hollingshed, yeah.
Other than that, Fitzwater is not qualified. I mean, he's new. It's not that big of a surprise. But if anything should happen to Andrew Jackson, or for whatever reason he can't compete in England, he could step in there. He made major improvement on the branch. I'm very happy to see that. I remember he's a very good friend of my old athlete, Mike Cleaves. Today, 3 years ago, Mike Cleaves won his pro card. At the North American, he won the overall. And Fitzwater was, I think, 3rd in the heavyweight. I was just coming across some pictures we took backstage, and it's just absolutely incredible. He doubled in size.
Wow.
And, you know, he had this idea when he became pro, I can do it myself. I don't need some trainer. I don't need to pay some trainer. And it just didn't really get him anywhere. I know best where that gets you. You know, I can do it myself. And he finally changed his mind. And in a very short time with Branch, he made tremendous gains. And it's looking really good.
Hey, Nick Walker.
What about him?
What do you think his chances are?
Top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see. You know, I would say top 3 possibly, but now I'm suddenly really hoped out I can.
Is Hunter qualified?
Yeah, top
Yes.
5 from last year.
Yeah.
He's from last year. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
It is. If everything goes normal, I still have our 2 Middle Eastern athletes on 1 and 2, Hadi and Rami. You know, Rami looks really, really good. He trained way longer this year than last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, last year he had some issues and only trained for 6 months. This year, I mean, what I've seen, it's just very hard for Nick, being twice as big in the midsection, to stand next up to him. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter how brutal he is. It's going to be very, very hard, you know. And then I remember last year in the crab pose at the very end, when Nick was standing next to Hadi, you know, Hadi's legs are twice the size of Nick's.
Really?
It's going to be very, very difficult to make up for that in a year. And, you know, the only thing with Hadi often, what I realized, when the pre-judging starts, his color is off, he's not great. And then at the finale, he's the best athlete. So that happened like a couple of times. So I think he has to come a little earlier, you know, to the United States. And other than that, I mean, the guy is, what, 215? It's incredible how a human being can look this big with 215. I'm looking very forward to see him. And he's obviously a crowd favorite. I think he won the, what's that called, that award for the fan award. He won that last year. So it'll be a great show this year. I mean, then we have just 5 to 10. There's new guys with Andrew Jackson, with who else? It's not top of my head right now, but there's some new guys. We'll see if Hunter, I think he's going backwards, but we'll see. I can be wrong. You know, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, he hasn't posted much.
Little bit, little something.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit today on some leg training, but too much of Hunter right now.
How about Regan? Is he still working with Milos?
I love Regan's look a lot. You know, did I tell you guys that Regan and I were talking, not knowing who he didn't know who I am, and I didn't know who he is?
No.
So at the USA, he was sitting in the first row watching the pre-judging, and this huge beardy mountain man was sitting next to me. And I could tell he was very big, but you never really know, you know, I mean, how fat are the people? And, you know, so we started discussing what's going on stage. And I just noticed, wow, this guy is big. But with the beard and thing, I didn't really, as I walked out, Flex, Lewis was, you know, calling me out, you know, calling my name. And then as I said hi, he started talking to Regan. So I recognized him finally. So I wrote him a message and said, oh my God, we were talking for 15 minutes. No idea, you know, we are. But, you know, the guy has like over 1 million followers. I'm sure my message is not quite on top of the list for him to answer. So he never answered it.
Right.
So, yeah, I saw him training in the back today. I mean, I'm so impressed. I'm just still not 100% convinced about Milos' skills to dial in. You know, I love what he does with those guys in off season, but I think it's still too much of a hit and miss going into the last week with Milos. You know, it's just that this is so risky, this insulin loading, and it can go great or it can go not so great, you know. And now when I look back, the shows he had with Regan, you know, one show he looked better than ever, and the other 3 or 4 he looked not that great. So you know, as much as I love Milos, I hope they get it right, you know. So I just wish he would underload a little bit, but I'm sure Milos knows what he's doing. I know his attitude. We're going full risk, and it either works or it doesn't. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm.
Insulated.
Hey, can you guys see me all right? Have power outage.
Yeah, we see you. You're distorting a little bit.
Are you
Yeah,
having
I've
one of
had
those
power outage. I had to
rolling
switch my
California
phone.
blackouts?
That's what happened.
Are you guys really happy
He's
over
gone.
there?
Yeah. Somebody must have plugged in one of their cars.
They told us not to. Did you hear that?
I heard that. They want you to buy them, but they don't want you to plug them in.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's quite amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you really having blackouts, JP, already?
Oh, it's crazy. They every
Had
day
one.
they ask you to please turn off all the appliances, don't charge your car.
Turn your
But
phone
they
off.
want you to buy one, like Jason said. And then you heard that 2035, no more gas cars, and they're so not prepared in any way for that. It's gonna be fun. So
I think so too.
I'm gonna get one of those Tesla batteries or two, which keeps you at least for 2 or 3 days afloat.
Have you seen any, Francois, you may know, anybody coming out with any electric motorcycles?
Oh yeah, I mean Harley Davidson came out with the light wire. I think it's called light wire. Anyway, it's an electric bike.
Uh-huh.
It's over $35,000.
Wow.
And nobody wants to buy it. So
How fast does it go, do you know?
it's very quick. It has amazing torque, but there's one thing missing, which is the distinctive sound of that V-twin.
I was going to say that. That's
Well,
what,
that's what people want. They want the sound.
Dodge wants to build in the sound in the new Hellcat, and the Charger and Challenger are discontinued next year, and of course all of us Dodge
Guys,
fans
can I interrupt you for a second? Can I just interrupt you for a second and introduce you my beautiful wife, Valeria?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, JP, I know you.
Hi. How you doing, Valeria?
Yeah, nice to meet you all.
Yeah. I seen your pictures all in all your little tours that you guys go on.
That's right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Little intermission.
Talk about vehicles. I mean, that's a whole new ball game, guys. Politics and everything. But it costs more to run that electric car than it does a regular vehicle, man.
Yeah.
It would take. You can't go without gas cars in 2035 in California. The power grid wouldn't even take it, for crying out loud.
No, that's what they're.
Or as more as you look into how much they have to mine to fill those batteries, and then the batteries only last 10 years. I mean, what it will do to the environment once they have to throw all those batteries away. I don't think they talk that through. Not that they care, it's almost like a religion. Yeah? I mean, without going political here, the first thing they really would do, if they would really be concerned that the world is going down this fast, the first thing they would do is outlaw private jets. And as long as they don't do that, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear anything about separating my trash or anything, or not driving this or that car. If you guys stop driving or riding those flying those private jets, then I might start to listen to that crap, but not before that.
It's funny. Apparently, this is the story from my hometown up in Canada, which is like 500 miles north of Toronto. I come from the largest mining municipality in the world, and Elon Musk just went over there recently, I'm not sure, within the last year, and bought the largest nickel fine mine in the entire world by my hometown, just to make the batteries.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Side note.
Did you
need gas engines to mine all that stuff.
Did any of you guys drive electric cars yet?
No.
What's that?
I've been in them. I've rode in them, but I've never owned one.
No.
Did any of you guys? I did try a Tesla, and I mean it's incredibly fast. But
it is
the way it hits your back, the whole feel. I had my Hellcat. I can only imagine how dangerous that is on a motorcycle. if you start to kind of pull that gas up, you know, I mean, it's just like puff, and it just hits you.
Yeah, it's very quick, very quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy. Hey, JP, I was going to ask you this. Phil and I were talking about it a little bit. Did you see that Padres baseball player that got suspended for the steroids?
I don't know if I read about it, although I'm watching games.
Fernando Tatis. He's a shortstop for the Padres. Have you ever heard of Clostebol? Clostebol.
Tell me again.
Clostebol. He tested positive for Clostebol. He got suspended for 80 games, unpaid. This was just a couple weeks ago. But he claims that it was for a. Here's what he says. It turns out I inadvertently took a medication to treat ringworms that contain Clostebol.
So it's a testosterone from what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
So
we had the doc on. He would probably know, but I had never heard of it.
He did definitely not use treat ringworms from what I'm seeing here.
So, I think we probably should have came up with another excuse than ringworms.
It's probably
do they random test those guys?
Yeah, they do. They random test just like the NFL and all them. Yeah.
All right, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
So I think if you have random tests, and then if you take occasionally very short acting testosterone, you 99% of the time you're gonna get away with it. Yeah? But if you take it in the next 48 hours, you're going to be positive. Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's probably one of those things.
You can thank Jose Canseco and all them for that.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool time back then when they were hitting 50, 60 home runs a year.
Yeah. Who's that guy for the Yankees right now? He's killing them.
50 already. So the
he's...
Yankees were just playing my Angels. I tried to get tickets. I couldn't get any. The last 3 nights, the Angels won 2 out of 3. That was great. You know, we have this crazy young Japanese guy who the first time since Babe Ruth can pitch and hit just as good. So he already has 30 home runs and won 11 games as a pitcher. He has a 2.67 ERA. The guy is only here for 2 years. So who wants him next time has to bring up at least $200 million for 4 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
And that will be guaranteed money, you know.
And he's from Japan, you said?
He's from Japan, yeah. He's breaking pretty much all the records existing since Babe Ruth, you know, with the one night he pitches, the next one he hits, and the guy's absolutely incredible, 28 years old. So I didn't watch the last 2 or 3 years much because my Angels just suck so badly.
How's his build? How's his build? Does he look good? Is he built?
Yeah, he's a tall guy, nicely built, not overly muscular, but you can see he's spending some time in the gym. And, you know, I don't know, as you guys know, if you're that big of a star in Japan, I mean, the opportunities to make money is even bigger than for an US athlete. I mean, if you go back to Japan, you will not have 10, 15 journalists waiting for you. You will have 300 journalists waiting for you. I mean, the guy is an absolute sensation.
Well, that's just like Middle East with bodybuilders, you know, they're kings over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I can never get my head around baseball.
It took me a long time. But once you get into it, I have a tough time watching the games live because, you know, on TV, at least now, you see the square, you know, where you have to hit the ball. Where when you're in the stadium, you can see that. Although my father-in-law, he is a baseball fan. Doesn't matter where we sit, he sees every pitch exactly in, out, left, right. You know, where to me, I just see a ball flying.
Yeah.
So I prefer at this point watching it on TV, but it's an absolutely fascinating game, and the skill set of those guys is just. I mean, just the way they have to hold the fingers to make those balls go in all kinds of different directions. It's crazy, you know. Some people, they retire and they cannot close their fingers. The fingers are like this far apart when they retire. Yeah? I mean, it's incredible. And the amount of money they make, you know, because they have, 160 games a year? You know, so, yeah, I'm a big baseball fan.
Yeah, if I want to really go to sleep, that's what I have. Sorry, brother. I just can't. Baseball is one of the most.
I can't get my head around it at all. I just can't. What blows my mind is that baseball players are like the highest paid athletes in the country, right? We're way above football players.
Oh yeah.
No, NBA's average still a little higher, but yeah, they're
The NBA's figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get my head around that. I'm not really a fan of that either, to be honest with you. But
No.
to me, football is one of the most exciting games that there is. That I see American games, and it blows my mind that it's so far behind baseball. When like Steve, I mean, I remember taking Mac to a baseball game when he was real little, and he fell asleep after about half an hour. It was that boring.
Yeah.
I had to carry him out.
The problem in the NFL is they have 16 games a year.
Yeah.
So they just can't pay the guys as much money as they do in baseball.
Yeah, the fan base just isn't.
What I love about football is it doesn't matter how good you are. Every year in the training camp, other than maybe a handful of stars, you have to totally go for it again. If they find the younger guys slightly faster and better, they don't really give a damn if you won 5 Super Bowls before. You know, it's not like in European soccer where if you're a superstar, you're going to be probably fine for the next few years. You know, in football, you can be a superstar, and next year you cannot make the team. You know, this is absolutely incredible. Yeah, if you guys watch Hard Knocks, the HBO show about the football camps.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I mean, they cut those guys, you know, who have these dreams since they're 5 years old, and then one day they tell them it's over for you, you know. Yeah. So,
well, look at during the Tim Tebow era, all the tickets and stuff that he was selling, and people loved him, but nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
Well, when you think of football, man, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but college football, you just can't beat it, man. It's just, you know, they're not NFLers, but the fact that they're paying these guys now makes it a little different. But college ball still, to me, is a more exciting game than the NFL.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, but there's also, not everybody is so great, so there's more mistakes. There's more room to kind of run and pass, you know. The pros, the game is so fast, you know. It's just crazy.
You know, with college, it takes a couple of years. They build a good team, and then it's gone. You know, everybody graduates. You know, and they start over. So,
well, the lifespan of an average NFL player supposedly is only 4 years.
Imagine that.
Most part, right?
Yeah,
that's probably about right.
3 years. Hey, Phil, you know that event we had in LA, the Q&A with the oldies,
right?
So remember that John Brown was sitting next to me.
Yes.
Did you know that his boy is playing for the Detroit Lions, or both of them?
2 of them, yeah.
Yeah. So he was in the show. He was in Hard Knocks this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was. They mic'd him up when he watched the preseason game.
Wow.
So yeah, he was not happy. Kind of in a funny way that, you know, they have this young new guy, Hutchinson. He was number 2 draft pick. They gave this guy as a signing bonus coming out of college, $23 million.
As a signing bonus.
$23 million coming out of college. He never played a game, you know.
Wow.
So if he injures himself tomorrow, he's set for life.
He's still set, yeah.
Of course, in the preseason games where Hutchinson only played a few minutes, his family was sitting in the luxury boxes and John and his family was not sitting in the luxury boxes. So John was mic'd up and he said, "I cannot believe they're over the luxury boxes and I have to sit here." So I hope somebody's giving him tickets for the luxury boxes. But they showed how he trains his boys from young on, you know, in a very disciplined way. I was very impressed. Very, very impressed.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Man, that's incredible. 2 sons.
Well, weekends come. Starts this weekend, guys. Actually starts tonight, man. Football.
Oh, really?
Yep. UCF game on tonight. Couple of other games, I think, but you know, we got the big weekend coming up, man. College ball starting this Saturday. That's the best week.
And NFL starts what, 9/11, right?
Next Thursday.
Wow.
That's next Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that preseason or is that regular?
No, preseason is done.
Preseason is done. I think the Bucks game was the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first game is an absolute, you know, my father-in-law has season tickets for the Rams.
Nice.
So every 2 or 3 weeks when the game is kind of nighttime, he doesn't want to drive at night. So then I get the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'm glad I moved out of LA. In Inglewood's about 15 minutes from where I live, right? So the 105 and the 405 are the main entrance to the stadium. Man, can you imagine the traffic down there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I do it different. I take a bus, you know, yeah, they
smart.
have buses from pretty
Yeah.
far away. So, but if you have one of those, like, you know, they're in a pretty poor neighborhood. I was surprised to see that, you know, where they built the stadium.
Right.
And if you have a house there, you can sell that
You can
parking
sell
for
it
$300,
for-
$400, $500, you know, for a game.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you guys see that SoFi Stadium, it's like the most expensive stadium ever built.
Where is that?
Surprised.
It's in Inglewood here
It's
in LA.
Inglewood. That's 15 minutes from my house where I used to live. I sold that house.
It's nice. It's real nice.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
money on stadiums, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think they spent $6 billion to build that.
I believe it.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it took 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And look at how bodybuilding compares to those type of sports.
Oh.
Just saying.
We
Just
just
saying.
Hey, let me tell you this. One NFL player can make more in one game than the Mr. Olympia.
I know.
You train
Yeah.
for a year for it in one game.
One
They
game.
make as much or more.
Yeah, but still, I mean, look at it in a different way. For a small sport as we are, compared to a lot of poor Olympic sports, we still can make a decent living and we can keep making money as we retire. You know, we can train people, we can do stuff. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do when you win an Olympic gold medal in curling, and you have to be extremely good.
Valid point. Valid
Or
point.
bobsledge or whatever, you know.
You could be a PE coach somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Some elementary school PE coach.
I'm sure you're aware that back in my day, man, 30 years ago, you know, a lot of these sports, a lot of people never really trained with weights or did any weight training for a lot of these sports. Back then is when you saw that influx of people, of professional athletes looking for bodybuilders to learn how to train. A couple of NHL hockey players back in the day, a few NFL football players. And even though they would train on their own to some degree, man, they wanted to learn how to train better and smarter. And, you know, the bodybuilding kind of set that standards back in the day, man, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
When Kobe signed his first contract with the Lakers, they sent him to Gold's Gym. Says, go ask the bodybuilders how to put size on.
Yeah.
I wonder how that first conversation went.
Mm. Well, I got some questions, guys, if we want to go through them.
Knock them out, baby.
People. Let's see. This first question says, is there such thing as overtraining?
Yes.
Okay.
I say yes.
You say
100%.
yes. How do you, okay, so how do you know? How do you know when you're overtrained?
Let me first ask a question in the same kind of thing to Steve. You know, Steve, you were telling us that now, since you're training again, you're doing a lot more sets.
So you tell me why that's different for me. I couldn't answer that.
You think it's because the weights are just not that high anymore? So the breakdown of the muscle tissue is just not that big in each set, where back then we used much heavier weights. You think that's what it is?
I think there's a correlation with that. But, you know, the thing is, though, JP, my intensity when I'm training is absolutely through the roof. And I'm actually going to start filming it because I want to put them on. And a couple of people are asking about it. And I mean, I'm training hard and intense, and of course, the weight's not as much. But you know, I'm still doing sets and everything on all my body parts, which is really interesting. So,
but you know, the reason I did so low volume when I was young was not that I trained harder than others. I mean, there's a lot of people who trained very hard. The reason is I used so incredibly heavy weights.
Right.
So the breakdown was so immense that it just took a few days to just recover, you know.
Yeah, you never a big advocate of that, JP. Back in the day, you know, I did my time doing like heavy squats and some deadlifts back then, you know, and I messed my back up a little bit, but I've never been a fan of growth that way. And I know it works for some people, obviously similar to Dorian in that manner, JP. but I've always seen that on a higher scale, that when you train with more volume, you know, not light, but like medium to heavy with higher reps, you know, I just find that you can gain more and you have better efficiency and you have better.
I absolutely agree with you. And if you look at guys who worked with those extreme weights like I did, or Ronnie did, or Dorian did, we pay the price, you know, where stuff starts to grow everywhere, you know, where a higher volume can, you're more durable and you can do it for a longer time and just make just as good gains, you know.
Right.
Of course, I would.
Do you have any injuries, JP?
No, I don't. But, you know, my career was very short.
Yeah.
You know, so in that regard, I mean, sure, I trained from 15 to like mid-30s, but I think they would eventually it would have started to show up those injuries if I would have gone longer.
But back then, you never had any major injuries when you were training that way?
Other than the big one, not. I hurt my elbow once. And when I look at it now, you know, my right shoulder is not 100%, but I can train. It's fine. So I have no injuries really. And I'm very surprised about my lower back. You know, since the last exercise was always one or two sets of deadlifts with up to like 750 pounds. And I'm very surprised since I did it from the floor up. But I did every day 50 repetitions of hyperextensions twice, where I did the first 10 reps rolling up slowly, you know, to kind of go deeper, reach deeper muscles closer to the spine. I think my back was really, really strong in that. It really helped me. But I was lucky. So Ian will not like to hear that what I'm going to say next. But if I would go back in time, I would do the rack squats and not from the floor anymore. You know, my back would be just as good with less risks.
But you know, I think an answer to that question too, Big Naz, is that you know, I think people like us, we've always had a knack for knowing when we needed that rest. Like the way I'm training now, I'm 4 days on, 1 day off. And so once in a blue moon, I'll feel that I need to relax and take 2 days off because I feel like I'm able. But I don't know if it's necessarily overtraining. Maybe my body just needs some rest, perhaps. It goes hand in hand. But for the most part, I mean, if you're training smart, you know, you need some rest here and there. But overtraining, I think there's a lot of guys that overtrain, a lot of girls too.
Yeah.
The way I measured overtraining back then, it was when my sleeping pattern, when my sleep started to really suffer. I was just so tired that I couldn't sleep. You know, that was kind of a sign of overtraining. And I did do extra rest days. You know, I occasionally did put an extra day in. But yeah, absolutely, it's possible to overtrain. But a lot of overtraining is not coming really from training alone. It's coming from not eating right, not having, you know, a lot of the circumstances, sleep, not eating right. And that will also lead to overtraining, sometimes even more than the training itself.
Yeah.
There's different things.
I would be interested to hear Francois' opinion here, because him as a natural athlete, I think that's something he had to be even more careful than us, you know, with that subject overtraining.
So the first thing I want to say is something actually quite funny. I had Victor Richards staying in my home in 1988. And as you all know, Victor was huge in those days.
Yeah.
I think he still is, but he was, in the 80s, he was just a monster of a man. And so one day I was curious and I said, Victor, did you ever injure yourself? And he said, he thought for a moment and he said, yeah, actually, yes. While I was sleeping one time. So he made a wrong movement during his sleep and then he injured himself. I don't know what kind of injury, but just to tell you that actually he never injured himself, and he had the constitution. I mean, it was amazing. He was built like a bull, right? And I remember, just to tell you a little anecdote about Vic, I had some guys in the gym in Lucerne, the gym you've trained at, JP. that were quite skeptical about Victor's strength, because I had told everybody, "Oh, Victor is coming to visit us. You will see, he's amazingly strong." And so a few guys were a little skeptical, what he could do. So one day, Victor was at the squat rack, and he had both hands on the bar, like he was ready to dive under the bar, take the bar on his back and start doing a set of squats, right? And at the same time, this guy, this short Italian guy, who was very skeptical about what I told him about Victor, just opened the gym door, and he saw Vic on the squat rack, and he said to me, "Oh, well, that's only 300 pounds. I can do that too." But at the same moment, Victor took the bar on his back, the Olympic barbell on his back, and he started doing presses.
Behind the neck presses.
Yeah, shoulder presses. He used a little leg, I must be honest.
Right.
He used a little momentum, but he did some pretty clean reps of presses with 300 pounds.
Yeah, he was that strong. He was that strong. I trained with him at Go's Gym in the 80s, early 80s. I met him when he was 19 years old. And him, I said, what have you won? He goes, "I have never competed yet." And I looked at him. I just went, "Holy shit." Never competed? He said, "Yeah." I said, "How old are you?" He said, 19. My jaw dropped.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, so I met him in 1988 because I was there for the Olympia in LA. And when I saw him on a bicycle at World Gym, I mean, he looked twice the size of the other guys. But like you said, he didn't compete much. I think he did compete as an amateur, but he never wanted, I guess.
He got his pro card. You know where he got his pro card?
Nigeria.
From Joe, right?
There
from
you
Joe
go.
Wheeler.
No, Nigeria. Mr.
Oh,
Nigeria.
Yeah.
And
he
when
won
he
the nationals, right? Yes.
The guys competing in the show thought he was a guest poser, right? And when you see him in the background from the photo that they took with him on stage, they look like basketball players in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's how big he was.
Oh, yeah.
It's the craziest picture I've ever seen. And he never competed as a pro, but he got his pro card there.
Yeah, I remember that.
So JP, remind me your question, quick.
How did you, deal with overtraining, and did you have to be extremely careful with extra rest days as a natural athlete, less sets, or?
What you said before resonated with me, because in those days, of course, I was training lighter than you guys, and I knew JP, but I was training heavy for me, for my abilities.
Sure.
And I was doing my heavy deadlifts and heavy squats. And like you said, when you use heavy weights, a squat session, I was doing maybe 4 work sets, but it took me 45 minutes.
Mm.
It took me 45 minutes because there was a ritual, you would load the bar, and then you would walk like a lion in a cage, and then you would put your wraps, and then put the bells, and then have a sip of water, and then move to the bar, and then concentrate and focus. And then finally you would do your set that would maybe last 45 seconds or less. And then you would rest another 5 to 10 minutes before you do the next set. And when I did heavy rows or heavy chest presses, it was maybe a shorter rest time, but still, those few sets took a lot of time. So I was doing low volume like you. I tried to do as high, to push the intensity as high as I could. I was never too much in favor of forced reps. I like to do everything by myself without my partner having to touch the bar,
Assist you, yeah.
I wanted to complete all the reps myself. And then maybe on certain occasions, I would tell my partner, with a very short word, now, and then I would feel his hands under my elbows or under my rib cage, just to secure me, but not really to help me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like you, I was doing low volume, and although it's a totally different story now, but like Steve, I do more sets now, but I do, other exercises. I don't do the deep squats anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I go on the leg extension machine. And then of course you do more sets, but I don't think you can compare, the deep squats with heavy weights, that barbell, resting on your shoulder, and then sitting comfortably on a leg extension machine, or doing a pull down using the high pulley instead of doing heavy bend over rows. It's not the same kind of training.
I think the biggest thing as far as overtraining is how often you train each body part.
Yeah.
I know when I was training at my highest intensity, my big body parts like legs, chest, and back, I could only train once a week because I did trash them. But I hear a lot of athletes nowadays training chest 3 times a week.
That's overtraining.
And I think that is more conducive to overtraining.
I see that a lot.
Low intensity.
Yeah,
a lot of young kids do that.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I did personally is I didn't have a weekly training cycle. I was just using a training cycle consisting of training days and rest days. And I would train as long as I felt good. I wouldn't take any rest days. But maybe after 4 or 5 training days, I would rest maybe 1 day or 2 and then keep going, Mm-hmm. So maybe I would do legs every 7 to 10 days,
Yeah.
One time, just one workout.
Mm.
And then maybe smaller muscles. I would train a little bit more often, but resting was primordial, very important.
Yeah.
And I would just try to listen to my body and make sure I got enough rest, because I knew that I would actually grow during my rest days.
Yeah.
My training days were just a trigger to stimulate growth, but resting was actually when growth was taking place.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. With the food and the resting and the napping, I made sure I took naps during the day after my meals. Mm-hmm. So it was, like you guys, 24/7. You were kind of obsessed with staying in an anabolic state and grow, that make every day count,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's something that you guys similarly, because I would train 6 days straight, 1 day off, and I trained all body parts twice a week. My training would be from Monday to Saturday. Sundays were days off.
Right.
I train 6 days a week now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I trained each body part once every 7 to 8 days. I started doing that as a teenager, and it worked. And I stayed with that throughout my whole career.
Yep.
All right, let's here, I'll move on to the next one here. What's more effective, post training cardio or fasted cardio?
They're equally as effective.
It's
the idea behind both of those is that you don't have glycogen stores available to use as energy. So if you do it fasted, unless you've eaten a ton load of carbs right before you go to bed, then you should be pretty much low on glycogen. So fasted works. If you do it post workout, you should have used all the glycogen during your workout. So that would work also.
Okay.
There's actually some interesting studies about that, where you even burn slightly more fat having eaten before. So I don't think it makes any difference when it comes to burning fat. I do like the fasting because I just like to get through it in the morning. I just like to get that part behind me. I was not like the biggest fan of cardio, but when it comes to being effective, I don't think it makes any difference.
Yeah. I guess it depends on your lifestyle too, you know, the job you have and all the stuff.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I used to do mine the last thing at night before I went to bed. So I won't lay on all those calories, whatever calories I had for my last meal. I would literally go for a walk at midnight. I nearly got arrested about 8 times doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What is the best? What's this say? Best to cleanse your digestive system after competing. Best way.
Steve will answer this one. Ask Steve. Steve knows more about this than anybody.
Yeah. We need a doc for some of this. Go ahead.
Yeah, but first of all, why? Who's doing? Why would you want to clean yourself out after? After contest, after dieting? You said
after competing. Yeah, after contest.
Well, that's an interesting question because competing is eating pretty. I think perhaps there's a little bit of fiber on that end. Fortunately, as bodybuilders, we don't have a lot of vegetables. Source of fiber cleanser there is in the world. With that, if you're going to do, there's cleansing products. Some of the best ones out there, just simple cleanse, are psyllium husk and Cascara sagrada. But vegetables, if you're eating a bunch of vegetables, which again, like I always highly recommend, more on the raw side, you're getting some of the best fibers in the world there. But on the other hand, too, there's other fibers and other, like beans are a great source of fiber for cleansing. So it's a matter of eating those high fiber foods and a lot of those high fiber foods contain a lot of energy too. So not only are they cleaning your intestinal tract out, but they're actually adding more of the bacteria back in there, taking out the bad, putting good, by doing it. So it's not hard to do that. I don't know if a lot of people do it though. I mean, I'm curious to find out.
Probiotics, you recommend them?
A lot. But quite frankly, you can get more of probiotics out of a tablespoon of sauerkraut than you can buy it from a store. Or you eat pickles, any type of fermented foods. I know as a bodybuilder, you don't want to eat that close to a show, but even in the off season, for example.
I was saying we're talking post show here, so it doesn't matter.
Show pickles, you got sauerkraut, you have olives. Those are all high fermented foods, and they're loaded with probiotics, and they get inside your body and just replenish all the bacteria.
I'm doing sauerkraut every day since I'm 20 years old.
Really?
Of course. And
I do the apple cider vinegar. That works.
I just forgot to mention that one. Every day, twice a day. And I was just going to say, JP, I make my own sauerkraut, man.
Yeah.
Way better than store-bought.
That's my next thing, Steve. You showed me that, and I need to start doing it. That I haven't got to yet.
Say that again?
I need to get on that. You showed me that before. You've told me about that before. I need to do that.
Yeah. I went somewhere here locally. There was a fair or a festival, and there was a booth set up. And they had all the different flavored sauerkrauts. They were all homemade.
Oh, man. That's, on a health level, if everybody in America ate a tablespoon or two of sauerkraut a day, the health industry would drop by a major percentage in terms of in like the sickness of, they would lose a lot of money because people wouldn't be as sick, kind of like a fad, so to speak, but in some ways. But fact is people don't eat enough good foods like that. And sauerkraut is by far the best one out there. But again, I use that every day. I use apple cider vinegar every day, 4 tablespoons. I make a mix with it, man. It's a great elixir, a great alkaliner for the body, loaded with probiotics. I have everybody, all my clients that I teach, I tell them to take it as a cleanse.
Every morning I get up, I take my aloe vera, sauerkraut, and the apple cider vinegar.
Say that again, JP. Well,
every morning when I get up, I take half a glass of aloe vera. I thin it out a little bit with sauerkraut and apple cider vinegar. Every morning I do that and drink half a liter of water.
Well, so you add the sauerkraut to the drink?
No, I just take a spoon, like that. Yeah. And then I brush my teeth right away because I was afraid that apple cider vinegar will burn a hole into my gums. So yeah, and it's funny, I found a lot of the stuff I learned far later from Colombo, but the reason or why taking sauerkraut versus a supplement is the supplements are highly unreliable. But a lot of the stuff I did earlier, I didn't do aloe vera or apple cider vinegar when I was young. It was just simply because my grandmother said so, you know. It's just as simple as that, you know.
So true, man.
Is that it on that one?
Yep.
I got. It's just a fun question. If you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Say that again.
Yeah.
If you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Obviously, I think I would pick chicken.
I knew somebody was going to say that.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll say the obvious. It'd be chicken. And you can
Oatmeal.
cook chicken all different ways.
Oatmeal for me.
Oatmeal?
Yeah.
All right.
I would say sashimi for me.
Sashimi?
Mhm.
That's a sushi, right?
Yeah.
Okay. JP?
I don't know. This is horror just thinking about it. Yeah. So, I mean, we have to answer that question. We sure have to think of the health aspect, you know. But if it's like a food I could eat, probably and survive on it for the rest of my life, not looking at the health aspect. There's only two things I can eat: cheese pizza or tomato spaghetti, pretty much for the rest of my life. But it wouldn't be a great answer in a health aspect. So I don't know. This is tough. This is really, really tough. I mean, maybe I'm gonna go with my old friend Rachel McLeish. You can't go wrong with oatmeal, you know. But I do not want to know how that oatmeal tastes after a week. You know, I don't want to know how that oatmeal tastes after a week of it. You know, so it's tough. That's a tough one.
I have a toss up on those guys. Fortunately for me, it's you talked about the health aspect, JP. For me, I can't name one. I'd have sauerkraut and
Sauerkraut or what? Mango.
mackerel.
Mackerel.
Fish. Yep.
All
Oh,
right.
mackerel. Oh, okay.
That's kind of out of left field there. Jesus. You're talking about the fish, right? Mackerel?
Yep.
Yeah.
I own a company up in Seattle. The only place that has some good stuff.
Yeah, but now Steve is cheating and giving us two. You give me two things, then he makes it a lot easier. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we're talking one here, you know.
Yeah, I know.
He's gonna get greedy. I'm not gonna be on an island with you, Steve.
All right, I'll stick.
All right. We lost Phil again. So he went to go check his refrigerator.
I'm gonna have to go in a minute. I've got another client.
Do you?
Yeah.
When are you going back to Switzerland next time? Because I'm going in 47 days.
Probably not before the spring.
Yeah. You know, the Swiss Grand Prix is in 50 days.
Right. Are you going? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So
Nice.
I'm still going to, they're getting a second show next year, a pro qualifier.
Right,
So
I heard that.
I still hope the pro qualifier will carry my name. So we're talking about it. So
Nice.
I'm want to be there. So we have planned that I'm training Tim Budesheim.
Right, the German guy.
Yeah, we're filming it, and I hope that Hans Hodorn can take some good pictures.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah. And then going to see the show. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Did you guys
is Sean Ray going to be MC again, or?
Yes, he'll be there.
What you say, Steve?
JP, Francois, did you guys live close to each other, you two, in Switzerland?
Sometimes, yes, sometimes.
I mean, Switzerland is so small, Steve, that even living at opposite parts of the country, we would be pretty close to each other.
True, right?
But JP was born and raised in the mountain state of Switzerland called Wallis, and he's actually a part of that state is Swiss German, and the other part is Swiss French. and I was born and raised maybe 100 miles away near Geneva in the French part.
Right. Yeah. Because you speak French. Yeah.
I speak French. And there's I can tell you a little story about a guy that Jean-Pierre knows well. His name is Christophe. And Christophe used to be like a friend, but more like an acquaintance. And he came to see me in my gym in Lucerne at least once a month. And he trained, and we talked bodybuilding and nutrition and exchanged ideas. And one day he came to my gym and he said, I've got to show you a picture of a young athlete. And I said, yeah, sure, show me. And he showed me a picture of JP. And I think JP was 18.
18, goodness.
18. And he looked like he was 225 pounds. And he looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger with 19. When Arnold placed second at the NABA Universe in London, this is how Jean-Pierre looked like. And I said, holy crap, who is this guy? You know, and in the 80s, I was the king of the heavyweights in Switzerland, but I knew my time was coming to an end.
We're done.
Because this young fellow was just so amazing and so huge for his age.
Unbelievable.
And he said, well, this is Jean-Pierre Fuchs. And even his name, you know, I said, Fuchs? How do you spell that name? Fuchs?
Yeah, I remember when he used to come back, and I asked him all kinds of questions about the training, and especially your back training. I remember when he used to come back and talk about it, you know, in details, what you guys discussed.
Yeah, so before I ever met JP, I've heard so much about him. And I really felt threatened. You know, this is the new king of the heavyweights. He's gonna kick my ass soon. So I better win some shows before he shows up.
Well, I'll tell you. Go ahead, GP.
I think he did escape just before I showed up.
Exactly. Yeah, I did.
That's amazing. I will tell you this, Francois. After the last time we saw each other in '86, I'll tell you this in our language. Depuis qu'on j'ai déménagé ici 30 ans passés, j'ai perdu beaucoup de mon français.
Et non, je trouve qu'il est pas mal du tout en français.
Ouais,
il est pas mal du tout.
Il y a beaucoup des mots que je peux pas me dire. Pantoute, j'ai oublié.
I remember, Steve, I must say, if there is, I remember a few people really well from the 1986 universe. Paul Jean-Guillaume is one of them. And you and the Canadian team, there was another guy, a guy of color with long hair, remember? I think he was a middleweight.
Who was that?
He was a black guy. He had a medium long hair.
Our team.
I think he was in your team.
Yeah, yes. Because don't forget, we won we also won the trophy for the best posing routine for country.
You did exactly.
I put that together with those two black guys. It was me and the two black guys, man.
Yes.
I remember their names. Man, it's been so long for us, so I forgot them.
One of them had very short hair, and the other one had long hair.
Yep. I remember we had a week to practice a routine for the universe.
You did well. You did well.
That was pretty interesting, man.
And I was very impressed with your amazing symmetry and size, you know. So yeah, I remember you very well.
In '86, man, when we met, you know, because we talked a little bit over there for a while, man. And
I remember.
I thought you had that show won, man. I thought you, personally, I mean, on another level, you know, I think you probably should have won it, but still, man. I mean, I remember the day back then, you and I speaking a little bit, man. It's been so damn long. Holy smokes, huh?
You guys talk about crazy. Tokyo, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was in Tokyo. We had
100%. You should have won the show.
You know, it was an amazing contest because the IFBB introduced drug testing, and nobody really believed they would really do it. But the Japanese Federation really didn't mess around. I mean, they really did it. And I think 50 guys tested positive.
Yeah, including one of our guys on our team. He was my roommate.
Amazing. And in the heavyweights, we had two favorites, Luis Freitas and Mats Cardell from Sweden. Very good bodybuilders. And they were, you know, destined to be first and second, but they both tested positive.
Remember that.
So all of a sudden, you know, I thought, wow, I'm in there, you know. So it was really an amazing contest for me.
Yeah, I remember that, man. It was awesome.
Phil, the year you placed second of the universe, what year was that again?
Phil's not there.
Oh, he's gone.
Nah, Phil, he kept losing power at his house, so he's done.
I think 87.
So they did test in 86, but not 87.
It was the only ever did drug testing in the IFBB universe.
So in 87, I remember I was there too in Madrid. They had us pee in the vials, but I remember very well that Ben Weider said at the banquet that nobody tested positive.
Yeah, because in 89, I competed in Paris. So I failed the drug test 2 weeks earlier in Switzerland, but the results were not in.
Right.
So they did test me again in Paris, and it's pretty fair to say I probably would have tested positive too, and I tested negative, so they probably didn't test either in 89. So then 86 was really much the only year they took it seriously. Yeah?
Right. Yeah. I think 86 was really the year they took it seriously. Yeah, absolutely.
I remember once we were at the airport after the show, and then the results came in from Switzerland. And as the president, Josef Schmid, found out that I was positive and Heckle was there, they stopped talking to me immediately. You know, I was like total, like I having a disease or something, you know.
Yeah.
So then they banned me for a year, but it didn't really matter. I didn't compete in a few years, and it's so funny, you know. The reason I tested positive was I didn't take anything almost. I was so scared of the test, but I had no knowledge of how I'm getting around it. And in April, I took something from Eastern Germany. And we were always back then very intrigued by the Russians or Eastern Germans. Not that they had good bodybuilders, but we always talked, you know, the secret labs and the government is involved. So there was this stuff, I forgot the name, and they had this on the label. It's produced by the Eastern German government, and we're like, oh my God. So it was supposed to be a mix of testosterone, but it turned out to be cheap Deca. So that's why, because I never took Deca, and I tested positive for Deca. And later on, I found in some, back then we had those underground books. They showed you like the green book. I don't know if you guys remember the steroid book, and they started to show you like copies and fake products. And I found that bottle, but it's just Deca. So all year I almost didn't take anything, a little bit of testosterone. It was the beginning of me taking steroids. I was really very clean on that show, kind of, but I tested positive. It was kind of,
wow.
In my home state, it created a huge fuss because we have one newspaper in the whole valley. And of course, I was on the front page, with a big needle in my hand.
Oh my God, no!
And then we had during the Fasching, during the Carnival, we had this Umzug, was called, this where people were building their wagons up, and then they had this big bodybuilder with a huge syringe in his hand. You know,
Oh no!
My sister couldn't go to a bar anymore. They asked her when she ordered a drink, you know, you want it with a syringe or with a syringe or
Oh
not,
my
God!
No.
Yeah,
Terrible.
it created quite a fuss, you know, that positive test.
Guys,
I
I'm
didn't
gonna have
know
to
that.
leave. I've got a client. I'm gonna have to go. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Okay,
I
yeah.
think we're wrapped. I think we're wrapped up here. You guys got anything else? That's all the questions I had.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. It was good to see you.
Before we go, JP, Aaron Baker, any word from him?
Well, I need to. He gave me his number, but for some reason, or he gave me a business card. I need to ask Phil. Phil has his number, but he did agree to come on the podcast. I would like that. He just got married. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he married like a beautiful young girl, blonde, beautiful Swedish girl. She looked like. I'd like to talk to him about it.
Do you have? Oh, geez, that goes back to our question. Do you have Phil's number?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I do.
All right, guys. Catch you later.
All right, Ian.
All right.
See you next week.
Bye, Jan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.